Hi again, everybody. Doug Miles along with Ed Schneider. We're here at the Preserve at the campus of North Port High School, where the Sarasota Sailors have just defeated the North Port Bobcats 21-9 tonight in a big district game. And Eddie, you saw a very much improved Sailor team tonight.
Well, the Sailors, you could tell they worked on a few things. My first key of the game was protect the ball. They did that very well tonight. No fumbles by anybody, and it was wet conditions. Kudos to the Sarasota Sailors for that. There was one lone interception near the end of the first half that didn't cost them anything, and that was really the main key to victory tonight.
Sailors got on the scoreboard first tonight. Sean Hurley, a 1-yard quarterback sneak at about 3 minutes into the first quarter off a 45-yard scoring drive, taking a 7-0 lead. They jumped out to a 14-0 lead off a 66-yard drive capped off by a Greg Jackson 7-yard touchdown run. And the offense, for the most part tonight, they held on to the ball. That's been the trouble this year so far. 13 turnovers in 3 games, but one interception in the first half, which really did not hurt the Sailors. That's the only turnover in the game tonight.
Right, and they had 113 yards at that point at the 11-13 mark of the second quarter when they went up 14-0. And after that, they only had a net of 80 yards. They were stymied all night by a wave of yellow flags, 18 flags for 152 yards against the Sailors. They had a lot of big plays called back. Probably when you tack on the yardage they gained when those penalties were thrown, they probably lost 250 or 300 yards. They really could have dominated and put this game away early, but for whatever reason, the flags flew, and that does give the team something to work on here in the bye week as they get ready for Manatee High School, number 8 team in the state in Class 5A in 2 weeks.
Bobcats scored their first score of the game, first touchdown, and only touchdown of the game, when Devontae Bailey ran back a kickoff 90 yards, kind of a little bit of a trickery, as he got a handoff from his teammate, took it down the near sideline, 90 yards for the score. They missed the extra point in the second half. The Sailors came back, putting together another good drive. Actually, they recovered a fumbled punt, and they picked up the ball at the 7-yard line of the Bobcats, and then they drove it in a couple of plays later. Curry, a 3-yard touchdown run, made it 21-6. Joe Keane, a 30-yard field goal for the Bobcats. A few minutes later, the only other score of the game for North Port, and the rest of the game was pretty much the defense shutting down the Bobcats and the ball control of the Sarasota Sailors tonight.
Right, and you got to give North Port a lot of credit. They made some adjustments at halftime. They had 3 good drives in the second half. One resulted in a 30-yard field goal. The second was a 78-yard drive that was thwarted by an interception at the 10-yard line by Sarasota. That was a huge turnaround in the game, just when the Bobcats were threatening to score and make it a 1-score game. The one lone big play that the Sailors gave up on the 90-yard kickoff return, they more than made up for that with the fumbled punt that they recovered and drove that in for the touchdown to match that. So they negated the one bad play they had on special teams. Otherwise, special teams were great tonight. They've really improved since the beginning of the season, and they're going to need that as they get into the meat of their schedule in district play in the next few weeks, playing top-ranked teams Manatee and Venice, sandwiched by number 8 Southeast and 3A. It's going to be a tough stint for the Sailors, but they gained some much-needed confidence tonight and showed that if they perform the way they know how, they can win games.
Bright spots again tonight. Desmond Hurley, one of the running backs for the Sailors, along with Greg Jackson. Sean Hurley, a great game tonight, keeping the team in control on offense. John Lemmer making the interception again tonight. And he had one a couple of weeks ago, which he ran in for a touchdown against Jesuit. So he continues to be a stalwart on defense. Curry again with a good game, both running the ball and playing on defense as well. The only thing I guess you might want to work on, and again, we don't not here to disparage the referees. There were some questionable calls, but a lot of penalties on the Sailors tonight.
Well, the thing that would be concerning if you're going to question the referees are the fact that many of the penalties were on play away from the play. There'd be a sweep to the left side gaining 15, 20 yards, and then there'd be a late flag on the opposite side of the field for holding. Those are the kinds of things that you really have to look at and determine, are we really doing that? And if so, then we need to correct it, because that cannot continue as they get into these tough district games ahead.
The Sailors now with a record of 1 up and 2 down. More importantly, though, 1-0 in the district. North Port with a record of 1 and 3, 0-1 in district play. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in each week on YouTube, on MaxPreps.com, and also on Fandome.com. We appreciate you joining us each week on our Sarasota Sailors post-game show. Our next game will be in 2 weeks on October 9th, as the Sailors will take on the Manatee Hurricanes at Irick Field. That's going to be another exciting one.
It should be a great one. Manatee is loaded with talent, a number of Division I players. Their quarterback, Breon Carnes, going to South Florida. Division One, Ace Sanders, one of their receivers, going Division One, and Ben Axum, one of their backs, going Division One as well. I think he's going to Clemson. So they're loaded with talent. They're always big up front. It's going to be a true test for the Sailors. My prediction really is both teams, the two best teams in this district, I believe, are Venice and Manatee. No matter which one wins the district, I think you'll see those two teams battle it out for the regional final this year for a chance to go to the state Final Four.
Final score once again, Sarasota Sailors 21, North Port Bobcats 9. For Ed Schneider, this is Doug Miles saying thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.
Good night.